Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A to B podcast, your number one source for military entrepreneurship. As always, guys, I am joined with my co-host, Barry Bull, and we've been having a conversation for the past hour with our super intriguing guest, Jackie Barnum. Jackie, welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
So we were just talking about your first experience in the fleet. We in the part one, which you guys are going to be able to see somewhere up here, we were talking about how you went through the Naval Academy. You were basically stressed out. You went through TBS. You kept your head down pretty much the entire time. Now you are a full second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. You received orders to Camp Kinser, Okinawa, Japan as a logistics officer. And then, to resume it, because I don't want to talk about it too much again, Lieutenant goes, tries to do the hand reach, you know what I'm saying, to kind of like establish some territory. You said like, no, thank you. Okay. I refuse to believe that if you have been in this amount of time in the Marine Corps is because all of your experiences have been bad. So I'm pretty sure that you've had some really good experiences. Can you share some of the good experiences that you did have in Okinawa?
All the other ones, honestly, I maintain to this day, I learned the most about the Marine Corps, about logistics, when I was at Oki for 2 years, because the op tempo was so high. I went on so many exercises. I was there, which I truly now, it was my last choice at the time, but now I recommend people, new officers, go there as their first duty station, because you get to go on so many exercise opportunities. Literally, as a logistics officer, they're always like, we need a logo. Okay, I'll go. So I had this cool billet where I got to go to the Philippines 12 times in one year.
Wow.
And it was learned so much. It was tiring and exhausting, but it was just me. I didn't have a family to worry about. So I really had the opportunity to fully immerse myself into logistics. And the traveling, I made sure I had a passport. So I went to Vietnam for 10 days, Sydney, Australia for 10 days, Hong Kong, Shanghai. I got a visa for a little bit to go. So traveling, I went to places I will probably never go again, because when you're in Oki, it's just so easy to jump around.
Right there. Yeah.
So all those other experiences, met some great friends, people I'm still in contact with, people in my unit, because, it's kind of like 29 Palms. You're sort of all alone there, so there's not too much to do outside, so you do become so close with your Marines and with their families. So I loved that experience, and I really do look back fondly on my time in Okinawa. Those few experiences really don't even hold really any weight, and that's why I'm still in, honestly, is because some people will allow one experience like that and say, I'm out, I'm done, and then but you're giving the power to that person, and they're going to stay in and keep doing what they're doing. But why would I make a decision off of my own future and my career because of someone else? I'm not going to give them that power. All the good experiences totally outweigh the bad ones.
Well, so there's a big perception out there that it's just rampant. It happens every day, all the time. And you're coming in with this story. Hey, day one, there was an unwanted advance from another officer in the BOQ. Was the naval officer, the doctor, was that also on Okinawa?
This was when I was on an exercise.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think. This was actually when I was with my unit in Pendleton. So I don't think I was a captain yet, but I definitely was. This was my second duty station.
Yeah. So, one instance is one too many, but at the same time, would you characterize that as just, how would you characterize it? Is that just, it happened day one, but is it
what do you mean by?
Well, the public, like I said, there's a perception that if you join the military as a woman, this is just out of control. Sexual assault, sexual harassment. If I felt
that it was out of control, I wouldn't be in still. Simply, I would have gotten out a long time ago. And fortunately, in a weird way, having these experiences helps me become a better mentor and leader, because when a Marine comes to me and feels comfortable to tell me that they've had this experience, I can't just be like, oh, sorry, I can't help you. I don't know what that's like. Just simply saying, I have been through something similar and we will get through this. I will help guide you is so valuable. So in a weird way, like those experiences have increased my resiliency and have given me tools to apply my own experience to when other people are going through that. Literally, I mean, another story. I don't know if I ever even talked to you about this. I may have, but a few years ago, at my current unit, we had the Marine Corps ball. And this was after COVID. So we had 2 years of no Marine Corps birthday balls. And I was so excited to go. I went by myself because I just was like, I'm going to go enjoy with my Marines. And I was, long story short, sitting at the table with my boss at the time. And his wife, when everyone was gone from the table, she turned to me and said, "You are a B word." And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like when you get called, I was doubting reality, honestly. And I was
like BITCH.
Yeah, yep. And she said it again. She's like, you come across as a blank. And I was like, I'm sorry, like, did I do something to you? Is there an issue? I had met her the week before. I had never talked to her, didn't know
Was there
her.
a little bit of a Leo that wanted to pop her in the mouth?
Oh, well, of course, but I mean, I'm not going to get into an altercation at the Marine Corps birthday ball.
I mean, but
you
that's
know, what do you do?
That's your boss's wife.
What do you do against like a spouse? Like you can't do anything. So literally before dinner was even served, I left. I removed myself and I just was like beside myself, and I even call him like, EO, like what resources do I have? I was just like verbally assaulted by a dependent. What do I do? And there's literally nothing except I talked to all my mentors, was like, what do you recommend I do? And I think I spoke to 4 lieutenant colonels at the time. I think they're all colonels now. 3 of them were male, and they all, everyone was very empathetic. But the males, interestingly, were just like, I can't relate to this. I don't know what to tell you. The one female lieutenant colonel that I spoke to, she said, Jackie, the same thing happened to me when I was a captain. And she, even just her saying that, like kind of lifted a weight, because I like just having that, she could relate to my problem and help me navigate it. Like the men, like they truly wanted to help me, but they just didn't know what advice to give me. So that's why it's important to have like women mentors.
You know what's going through my mind right now? It's like, what gave that dependent the entitlement to even say something like that? Just because her boss, like her husband is your boss?
I think this was like a classic sort of like, she just made me out to be something in her mind. And it just like, I don't know, and it's really disappointing and sad because that's also an unfortunate stereotype that exists. And I will be to spouses is that they always accuse like other servicemen, like they don't like the females in people's units, and I will be the first one to say that I have had wonderful relationships with my Marine spouses. Like I am still in contact with the ones from 10 years ago. I was like an emergency contact for some of my Marines kids. Like I love spouses. And so this is like just one bad example that people are like, oh yeah, all spouses like hate female
But the
Marines.
female spouses, if they come to your unit or mine and Jackie's there and she's pretty, they're like, oh, well, you're trying to hook up with each other.
Yeah, it's like, give me some credit. First of all, like, I'm in a relationship. Like, you're just going to assume that I'm, like, I don't know what she was even insinuating. I don't even know, and I don't even care because that was just going to lead me down a path. I'm never going to get the closure that I want.
Exactly.
I never got an apology. I never got a conversation. Like, it was just, fortunately, I just had to move on.
But I'll tell you why that pisses me off, because she got part of that. I'll guarantee it from whatever her husband was telling her. I'll guarantee it.
Right.
Has to.
And I, she ain't there at work.
Right.
He is.
Yeah, so that was like the worst thing. I was pretty devastated. And the best thing for me to do, and I just try to handle it the best I could, and just removing myself ultimately, like was what I had to do.
So when you meant by remove yourself, like you left the ball?
Yeah, before my dinner even was served.
Oh man,
that's a fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah. Woo.
That is some. Okay, so I gotta move on
But
from that
again,
one because
I still have good
I want to say some
experiences.
things
Because it
I
makes
wanna
me
say-
want to fight right
I want
now.
to say some things. I want to say some things, and I know that not all military spouses are there because that's something my wife. My wife it's also a military spouse,
Sure.
right? And then when I was a gunny, she would talk to the PFC's wife like they were friends. And I never in my mind, I was like, Valerie, why are you talking to her like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a gunny. Like, you should address people. Like, nah, man. Like, I'm the one that's in the military. That's what y'all have to understand. You haven't stirred the day in your life. If you're a military spouse with no prior military service, you haven't stirred the day in your life. Don't try to insert yourself into like your husband's service. What you guys go through, which I completely respect and I completely understand, is completely different from your husband's service. So like, just be you. Be a military spouse, be the support system, or be, because I also love seeing like whenever you have like a military guy and then like a super successful like female, like a, that has like they make more than them type of deal. I also love to see that type of stuff, but you don't see those females calling anybody
Yeah,
the
if you're,
entitlement of like,
if you're a dependent, you do not rate the rank of your spouse.
you don't.
You don't.
You
don't
don't.
act like you're a major. Don't act
You
like you're a
don't.
sergeant major. Don't act like you're a gunny. You're a spouse. We appreciate you. Your sacrifice is very
Yes.
valid.
Yes.
All right, but we all know some take it a little too far.
Yeah, dude. I remember this one time when I used to still live on base. The number one question that I used to hate when I used to live on base is like, "What's your command?" From spouses. Who you work for? Who you work for? My husband, because I used to live in staff NCO housing, and all the staff NCOs that live there is like the master sergeants, sergeant majors, there's
Yeah.
a couple of whatever, but it's like all of them are like super high ranking individual, and I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Oh, you gonna report me? I don't give a shit. Like, you're my neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember. I don't know if I ever told you this. I think I did to you, but I'll share the story with Jackie. Day like first week of me moving into base housing. I'm there. I'm brand new from recruiting. So I'm like super like, hi. My name is whatever. So I go to one of my neighbors. I see him. He's right in front of his yard, doing something. I remember. I think he was getting the mail or whatnot, right? And I'm like, hey, what's going on, brother? And it's like, what's going on, brother? My name is Albert. How you doing? My name is Master Gunnery Sergeant such and such. And I'm like, okay, I'm not having a beer with this guy. It's like, yep, this guy's definitely not coming over when I make Puerto Rican food.
Was this at Pendleton?
This was a penalty.
So you're up at O'Neill Heights or what?
No, it's called Harborview and Stuart Mesa.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, so Harborview or Stuart Mesa. And I'm like, yep, this definitely, and that's how it was. That was like the very vibe. It's like people,
Yeah, it's like people that just use their rank as their identity. Like those spouses that treat people not very nicely, that's their identity. Like, I am a wife of a whoever, like, and that's all that they have.
Yeah.
And I just, they're not everyone's like that. Like, I just feel 99% of people are normal. Even in the military in general, people are wonderful. There's more good people than bad people.
Yeah.
It's just like the negative people or the bad people are just louder and just
Yeah.
make more of an impact. Like, even I go to that kind of philosophy on social media too, is there's so many more people that support you with like
Yeah.
a like just someone liking your content
Exactly.
is support.
I just would have had a hard time if it was roles were reversed, and let's say the woman was my boss and her husband is a dependent, and she walks away and he's over here. You look like X, Y, and Z. I mean, I would have a hard time being like, I'll take the coat off, bro, because we can really find out tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right. If the roles were reversed, like male on male.
Male on male, you look like a bitch.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, looks are deceiving.
or
Let's
like an
take the
asshole.
coats
Like
off.
a guy will
Let's take
probably
the coats
call
off,
it an
dog.
asshole.
When's the last time you died? Because I'll kill you. You know what I'm saying? You really want to talk about it? I ain't even got my steak tartare yet. You know what I'm saying?
Steak tartare. What the fucking ball are you going through that you can say serve steak tartare? I can serve some cold ass chicken.
But at the end of the day, like, who's gonna get in trouble? The service member or the dependent?
Yeah, for sure. The service member. Well,
So
that's why you're an
I
officer.
can't- Yeah, I can't,
Yeah.
call her names, or I can't
It's an
punch
unfair
her in the
fight.
face. Like, I can't go up again. And that's why I've been saying, like, what resources do I have?
Yeah.
None.
It's
Zero.
an
I
unfair
can't file a
fight.
complaint either against this
Yeah, I
person.
look like a bitch. Do I look like a UFC fighter? Because I'm getting ready to punch you in the head.
Yeah, it's an unfair. I'm telling you, it's an unfair advantages that spouses have over military service members. It's an unfair advantage. Like, let's say for example, and I just want to say this as an example, and then we'll move on to it. Right? Let's say for example, service member cheats on their spouse.
They don't do
proof,
that.
with proof. What happens to
Damn
the
it,
service
Albert.
member? Service member is getting NJP. Service member is getting 45, divorce, kids taken away. Spouse cheats on the service member. What happens then?
Nothing.
Absolutely.
Well, actually,
nothing.
that's not true. I'm dealing with a case. One of my friends,
Okay.
going through that right now. They put an MPO on him because an MPO is a military protective order, and you have no jurisdiction over civilians. Obviously, you have jurisdiction over the Marines and your command. Okay, he gets the MPO. He's got to move out. He's already now he's paying. Spousal support, which is an equal share. Every dependent gets an equal share of the BAH. He walked in, she had another dude in the shower. They were not praying.
Yeah. And let me tell you this.
But she kept saying, "Oh God."
Nothing happens, and then the only
just
one that
saying.
gets punished, by having something like that is the service member, because the command has control over the service member. They don't have control over the spouse. But then what happens is, oh man, MPO. But you know who the MPO involves?
The Marine.
Not only the Marine's children if they have children.
Yeah.
So now I'm being punished. I can't see my children for doing the right thing and going to work and doing the right thing. And then my spouse gets to, because now what a lot of people don't realize is when you put an MPO, you're actually limiting. And again, I'm not a lawyer, okay, guys. So I all the military lawyers can come out there. You're
Yeah.
actually limiting me on a actual civilian court, because now it's like, well then, yeah, we're not gonna give you, the equal share of custody because you didn't see your children. It's like,
I just don't even think that the military and adultery should be covered under the UCMJ. Just get a divorce. Get a divorce.
are you in adultery? No, that's. I mean, that's.
Why are you trying? Okay, so you get cheated on, and then it's like
I don't know why that's the Marine Corps.
you go report
Yeah,
it
exactly,
to
right?
Exactly. You go
Well,
report
it's
it to the Marine
military
Corps.
order.
If you
Military
work at
disciplinary
Amazon,
order.
they're not caring about your.
And then you're hurting
marital
yourself
affairs.
potentially, because now your spouse is getting reduced in rank, or they're getting kicked out potentially. They could be losing benefits, which is going to affect you and
Yeah,
your
exactly.
kids. If you have kids, look at Messy Military Lawyer. She does a great take on it.
She hasn't done a single. I'm getting kind of butthurt now because we always.
We
shout
don't
her
want
out.
your butt to hurt.
We always be
Jose does
shouting
not
her
want
out.
your
We
butt to
always
hurt.
be shouting her out, and she hasn't done a single take of any of the stuff that we've covered in the podcast.
Messy Military Lawyer. I know Albert well enough to know that he is hurt.
I am hurt. I am very
And
hurt.
we care about you. And so we want to feel seen.
And we just want
feel
to
seen.
educate us, okay? We're just
Yeah.
a bunch of people just talking about a bunch of random stuff, and we want you to educate us because you're the smart one, okay? In this
That's right.
whole
You have a law
conversation.
degree, over 20 years of UCMJ experience.
Okay, so going back to Jackie, so now you left Okinawa. What was your second duty station?
Camp Pendleton.
And you left and you got promoted there you got promoted in Camp Pendleton as a captain?
So everywhere I've been, I swear, every unit I've been to has either been going through some like reorganization. So when I got to Pendleton, I originally was given orders to MHG, which
Okay.
then became, while I was there, became the MIG.
Yep.
And then I was then working at MSB, which was like a battalion that was like that stood up under the MIG. So I was a company commander of Combat Service Support Company in MEF Support Battalion,
Okay.
which was a new company.
Were you a captain though?
So I was frock to captain. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's frocking for those of the
It just
people that
means that you get to wear the rank without getting the pay.
don't know? Yeah.
Yeah, I did a video of that. I did a meme of that. It was like this lady was like, "Yeah, so we fired the last guy, so you've been promoted."
That
No, but-
trend was fun.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Okay, so you went to the MIG, And then is that where you're currently located at right now?
No, so then I went to Rhode Island for 2 years at the Naval Academy Prep School, where I was a company officer for basically it's like a fifth year sort of prep school. So these kids are going to be going to the Naval Academy. I actually had some Coast Guard students, and I had a few that were going to ROTC schools, but most of them were going to the Naval Academy. So I was there for 2 years, and now I'm back on the West Coast.
Wait. But it's not the Naval Academy. You did say earlier it mirrors.
It mirrors it. It's in, so the Naval Academy is in Annapolis, Maryland, and then the prep school is in Newport, Rhode Island.
Oh. Okay.
So those are students who want to go to the Naval Academy?
So they kind of have like a sort of like a conditional acceptance as long as they do well on all their classes. They don't get any trouble, have no integrity problems, pass the physical fitness test.
And you added, if you guys do a video with me.
And if you do
Then
really
you
well
will
at TikToks,
graduate.
then you get extra credit. So
That was
yeah.
a joke, you guys.
So basically for if there's any enlisted Marines listening that are interested, so that's where a lot of Marines prior enlisted go. And prior Navy as well.
To the Naval Academy
so
prep
usually,
school.
yeah, you usually go to the prep school unless you're taking college classes, but you will go to NAPS for a year and then go to the Naval Academy.
Oh, okay.
You call them preppy or preppy? Because that's what it is, right? Preppy.
The students, what are they called?
You're a preppy.
No, we call their correct name is a midshipman candidate, but I'm trying to remember if we had a nickname for them. Mid cans, people called them.
Okay.
Not interesting. But.
Okay, so let's talk about when did you start like your whole social media presence? When was it that you were like, okay, so I'm gonna start doing this?
Well,
because
she's been
of your
making videos
experiences?
the whole time.
Well, my social media really started when I was at NAPS because I had these kids, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, and it was COVID, and they couldn't even leave base for an entire year. They couldn't leave their rooms if we had to do an unexpected quarantine. Like, there was no sports. There was no in-person classes. So literally the military staff, we were the only ones coming into work during COVID, literally scanning temperatures, giving them food, giving them toilet paper. So
Jeez.
of course that does a lot
that
to a kid.
Yeah.
Everyone was struggling, but these kids were really having a hard time. And so I would, and they were all I had, quite frankly, too. So I basically lived in my office was in the dorm. So I spent as much time as I possibly could at work so that I could try to be there for these kids. I tried to get Chipotle for them as often as I could, or try to do literally anything, because that was such a hard year for them. And so I remember talking to some of them, and I had made my account public, and it was, maybe I had 2,000-ish followers, and I started posting about leadership stuff, and I noticed that my students were, of course, looking me up, looking at my Instagram and talking to me about it. And one of them was like, "Ma'am, you should post a reel." And I was like, "What is that? I don't even know what a reel is." And so then it became so much fun for them to teach the old company officer what a reel is and how to use
The old 26 or 25-year-old.
I think I was 28, but to them, I'm 10 years older than them.
Yeah,
That's a lot, though.
Yeah, so I'm this old lady to them,
yeah.
and they're showing me how to edit video. So it became a fun activity for our group, and they'd be like, "Man, we would love to do this one." They'd send me a little video of a dance or the trending audio that we want to do. So from that, it really became a fun morale activity. And so then, of course, some of those trending things went viral. So then that's
They
how
did go viral.
So that's how the snowball effect started. So then,
Do you remember the first one that got that went viral?
the first one was when it was on my birthday, and I remember we were outside right before they went to the chow hall, and we were all doing this little a little dance move where we're all just doing this for 5 seconds, but it was so a trending song, and it got 11 million views.
Because I'm pretty sure you guys were in uniform.
Yeah, of course. Because we're all
right.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So that was the first one, I think. And
I remember that video getting sent to me.
As a sergeant major?
Well, yeah, because people would be asking me, what do you think about this? She's so unprofessional.
so
Yeah,
bad.
How could, what is this? Is
ridiculous.
this what the Marine Corps is coming to? And I'm like,
Relax,
What's
calm
the
down there.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm
5 seconds,
well, and I'm
it's
just I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It makes the military look fun. Is that
Yeah.
bad?
yeah.
Okay, so that was the first video. Now, where was the hate coming from? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, because a PFC can't start, a PFC, a staff sergeant, even a gunny can't start an investigation. There was somebody within your chain of command that obviously thought that it was inappropriate.
The complaints that I got actually were just like headquarters Marine Corps level IG website complaints. So I don't know, and I'll never know. And they're all just like pretty similar in nature, where it was like Captain Barnum is using her uniform to promote herself, or like they just didn't like
The fact that
the
you were
fact
wearing
that I
a
was doing
uniform.
social media stuff, and they were like like there's a recommendation portion, and it was like recommendation, like force Captain Barnum to remove every photo and video of her in uniform. I'm like, okay, well, good luck with trying to make every service member do that ever, you know? And so there's, of course, anonymous. And so when you're saying like where is the hate coming from? It's like all over, and there are people with no faces or names. And
I'll guarantee they're either veterans or active duty.
No,
Guaranteed.
they're active duty.
Guaranteed.
They're active duty.
They're haters.
Yeah, they're active duty.
We know they're probably grunts.
No, I don't. No, actually, no.
Guaranteed. I'll guarantee.
Actually, sergeant majors. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, please.
Those
no
are-
way. They're
those
other
are-
officers. Guaranteed.
it's just really silly, because if you actually were a leader and had like some, you know, like integrity, or even like, I'm trying to think of a better word for like courage, I guess. Like I frequently, if
Like you had the fortitude.
there we go. Thank you.
I just call it cojones.
There we go. I know that was the
like
word that I was
cojones.
thinking, and I was like, "There's a better word for that." But like, if there's something that you actually think I'm violating a order or a policy, like I've done this to other Marines, where I've said, "Hey, like be really careful about interviewing Marines in uniform, talking about if they think women should be in the Marine Corps or not. Like that's really a no-no. Like I really it's really easy to
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
hey, this is the policy. I think you're kind of skirting the line. That might be a little unprofessional." I've done that so many times. I'm not the social media police, but I am looking out for people
Yeah.
so they don't find themselves getting their rights read to them. Like, no, like, I think one time someone took a reel I posted and kind of interpreted it a wrong way. And they were like, hey, I kind of feel like this doesn't make the Marine Corps look blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I actually went in and edited my caption. I had a conversation with the person, and then I cleared it up. Boom. So those people that are filing complaints, I'm happy to have conversations, but they don't want to DM me. They want to put hate in my comments so that other people can see. And it's like, yeah, we got her. No one's ever actually DM'd me, ever.
Yeah.
A DM that has said, like, you're violating this order and I don't agree with what you're doing, because that would put them in a position where they need to have a conversation with me. And they don't want to do
exactly.
that. And most of the hate, and you probably experience this too,
Oh, boy.
where the hate comments, they don't allow you to respond. So it says like,
Oh, yeah.
so-and-so doesn't allow you to reply. I'm like, so you're allowed to like post these crazy hate comments, but I can't even like defend myself in my own account. It's so...
Yeah.
I'm so desensitized at this point, and I was telling Barry this, like all these haters and someone's are nobodies. Like they don't have a face and a name. I can't think of one person, like a face doesn't pop into my head that is like, oh, this person really like does not support what Jackie does. It's like, well, I put my face and my name on every
Yeah.
single thing I do and say, and I'm proud of it, and I put a lot of thought into it. And so I can't just let these little chirpers hinder me from continuing to send my message out.
Yeah, but it's probably brought you some negative attention from some of your seniors that you work directly for, no?
Probably. I mean, honestly, it's really never
Like, have you had
become an
uncomfortable
issue.
conversations with your boss?
The only time after like my first investigation, because this was all so new still, this was 2 years ago. And so the policies have since changed. And really, even 2 years ago, there was nothing really other than like, you can't post products in uniform because it implies endorsement. Okay, got it. That was really the only rule. And I had my investigation. Nothing came of it because I know the orders inside and out. But I got like a counseling sheet that was like it was like reviewed by an SJA. And I remember specifically on it, it said, you will consider all parties before posting anything in the future. I'm like, all parties. So I need to consider however many billion people on the planet and see if someone's going to be offended or not by what I post. Like, and that just goes to show how we don't people don't know how to advise like on social media because
Nope.
there are no really good
Nope.
policies. And so, yeah, I remember specifically it said, consider all parties. I'm like, then I will never post anything
Yeah.
ever again. No one will post anything. So
Okay, so should we be on social media in uniform?
I think if you know the orders and you feel like you are representing the military in a good way, I think we do need military members a presence on social media. Recruiters, aren't they like required to be on social media?
They are.
And so I think as long as we're doing it correctly and we have like purpose, I think a lot of times there's like confusion because posting like a selfie of me in uniform will get a lot of likes, but like, am I sharing an experience? Am I sharing a leadership lesson?
Are you trying to add value?
Right, exactly. So as long as we're trying to deliberately add value and we're trying to connect with someone, whether that's other Marines, whether that's people interested in the Marine Corps, then I think we definitely should, but not everyone should be. If you're like, if you,
I think I agree with what you're saying, but I think it even goes a step further. The problem with that is coming from a recruiter's perspective. It's not only about the value, it's also about the transparency, specifically when you are in the military. And that's, I've been thinking about this long and hard. That's where the military comes in, has this crossroads with social media. Whenever it comes to value and transparency. Because as a recruiter, I can sell you that you will utilize tuition assistance and that you will get $4,500, to get and then you will still qualify for FAFSA, or that you will get paid every first and the 15th. They're like, there's so much value that the military brings, right? But they don't tell you the transparency of some of the bullshit that you have to go through in order for you to get there. And that's the issue. The vast majority.
Wait a minute. Okay, I agree with you, but what do you mean that's the issue? Is it
the issue is that when people want to talk about it for real, like for example, what happened with my skill bridge package? Oh my God, we have this great program to allow military service members to transition into a civilian work. Great program, adds a lot of value to our life, but they don't tell you that you have to go through three fucking shitty leaders that will shit on your career just because you're doing more than them.
Well, that's case dependent,
tell
but
you that.
I think to your point too, one thing that as far as transparency, your job in the Marine Corps has a huge impact on the benefits that you can use. A guy or gal who's in the infantry, you're not going to have as many opportunities to go to college as somebody maybe as an administrator. You're just not. This guy's in the field.
I don't know if I agree completely with that. I know what you're saying, and this is a huge topic
They
of conversation.
deploy, they're in the field.
But it doesn't matter though.
No, it does matter.
I'm gonna tell you, no. It does not matter. It does not matter. I'm going to tell you why it doesn't matter.
Weigh in the comments.
I'm going to tell you why it doesn't matter. And I know I'm already going to get hit on by the people, but here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
If you make whatever it is you want to accomplish in life your priority,
I didn't say you couldn't do it. They do it all the time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But when I take your butt out to the field and wear you out at a battalion effect for 3 weeks, and then you got to play catch up, you got to email your instructors. And then, oh, by the way, after this workup is done, in 30 days, we're going to begin our first underway period out to sea for another workup. And you got the admin kid who's done 5 years. He ain't deployed. He sits at a desk all day. He doesn't have to deal with that stuff. I mean, those are real physical, mental things. That's all I'm saying. You are right. Those infantry Marines out there, and there's a good example of it, knuckle draggers. If you guys don't follow knuckle draggers, follow them.
He just posted about this.
He just posted about it. Mm-hmm. It can be done, but it's hard.
Yeah, and being in the Marine Corps in general is hard.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Like if the reason why I don't agree with it is because if what you're saying is true, then all admin people should have a bachelor's degree or master's degree.
There's just, I guess
maybe
what I'm saying is there's different obstacles, and some of those obstacles will hold, the same obstacle may hold you back where it may not hold me, and vice versa.
No, 100%.
Does that make sense?
100%. But the reason why,
and nobody tells you that when you're joining.
Yeah, but the reason why there's a flaw in your argument is because if what you're saying is true, then everyone could be a lawyer, everyone could be a doctor, everyone could be the freaking commandant of the Marine Corps. there's obstacles that you have to go through in every single thing that you propose to in your life. And we can't justify it because you, the individual, decided to pick infantry. It's all of a sudden gonna knock on the freaking Academy Marine that sits in a desk all day because that was your decision to go to that job.
My point is because I'm agreeing with you about the transparency. Because of the social media and the videos that get put out, I think it's really relevant. Pogue Actual has talked about this several times. Knuckle Draggers, we're talking about it. It's what job you pick, you will have different opportunities. When I was an air winger, okay, when I first joined as a skid mechanic, you didn't have skids in Hawaii. You could not go to Hawaii. I didn't know that. It's not even a consideration. And with social media, it brings a super high viz, super high level of transparency. And I think it's a great thing.
And I think that's why people get so upset at my account, is because I only speak from my perspective as someone who's done these things and has been these places. I have never claimed to relate to infantry Marines or tell them how to live their life. I'm just living my own life, and I just want other people to see it. So people just get so upset because it's not the experience they had. I get the experiences may vary comment all the time. You're right. That is absolutely true. Experiences do vary. I have had very cool, unique opportunities. I've had also very bad experiences, as we all have. But like you said, I'm just one tiny little part of the pie that makes up all these different types of people, with different personalities, different backgrounds, different experiences, and every single type of person is needed because those infantry Marines have all these 10 great other social media people to follow, and that's great, and I will never say anything bad about them because those people are needed and important. But I'm also needed and important because I relate to this group of people.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, obviously, with some of the things that you're doing right now is you want to make sure that you take your experiences and that you create this mentorship program, which we were talking about off camera. Can you touch on your mentorship program and your nonprofit organization?
Yes. So basically, when I was at NAPS, and my social media started snowballing, I would get DMs like, I would love to talk to, they would be like, what was your experience at OCS like? And I was like, well, I didn't go to OCS. I went to the Naval Academy, but I'm willing to bet that someone that follows me went to OCS. So one time I just posted on my story and I said, hey, looking for a mentor for someone who can talk to this person about OCS. Boom, 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 boom. That's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. I'm like, great, here you go. Here's these people. They would love to talk to you. So then that sort of started happening with more frequency, and I'd be getting questions about what is it like being in the Navy as a supply officer? What is it like being in the Air Force as whatever? What is it like being a Navy doctor? Okay, I don't know. I'm not that. So I started compiling all these requests. And every week for the last 2 years, I've done these Mentor Mondays where I posted all the requests. And it's so amazing to this day, all the people that are continuing to volunteer to say, that's me, that's me, that's me. And for 2 years, I have typed every single response I've ever gotten. So I have this Excel sheet of like 1,500 names.
That's what I was going to say. Like, how many people do you think you've connected?
Like over 1,000 for sure.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And this was all just by hand. So on the other side is I do have like 130 unmet requests that I just haven't found anyone for. And so I was like, I need a website because my throughput for me as one human, I'm able to facilitate 10 requests a week. So that includes me posting, getting responses, emailing the people, capturing all the information. And so I have been super blessed, and I have a web developer who actually was a student of mine's father reached out to me. He responded to an Instagram post where I was like, I need help with a website. And he's like, yep, sign me up. We got you.
That's so awesome.
Wow.
And he's been helping me for 4 months, and we're developing an actual platform that automates like 80% of the work. So if you're looking for a mentor in real estate, you can just type in the word real estate and boom, all the people in my database will just immediately show up.
Hello.
And then if there's new requests as mentors, you can look at the new requests. I'll still tie it in with social media because that's how I get a lot of responses and get the mentors. But basically, it's just moving the program that I've been doing on social media onto a platform and like a web app.
Got you.
And so it's a nonprofit because it's a free service.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
what I was
doing
going to
this
ask you.
for
So
free.
you have an established nonprofit. What's the name of the nonprofit for the people that don't know?
It's called Mentors for Military.
Mentors for Military.
Yep. So the website's mentorsformilitary.org.
And where can people go if they want to make a donation for Mentors for Military?
That website, mentorsformilitary.org, is right now it's just a landing page. So we're going to be launching in April, but right now it just has like, hey, sign up if you want information on when we launch, and then show your support and donate. We will take anything, because right now I just have web developers helping me, and they're spending so much of their free time. Just like the initial, overhead costs, I'm coming all out of pocket. So that's why it's a nonprofit, because I'll never charge a PFC. That just makes no sense to me. Like, this will always be a free service. So yeah.
How do you see your company scaling? Like, what is the end goal that you want your company to reach?
I want this to be a resource that is right as soon as someone goes to like their welcome aboard brief at like JRC or however they do it on different bases, that is like on the information packet of like, this is as well known of a resource as like Military One Source. Like, it's just something that we know is offered. If I need a specific mentor, I can just find one right then and there. I want it. So that's the platform goal. It's just getting all service members of all my program goes across all the branches. So getting it just well known and spreading the word about it and growing the platform and getting as many mentors, because it's the more people we have on the platform, then obviously just adds more value to it and we can help more people. And then in the future, I want to do events. So maybe like have different regions of networking events, doing mentor classes, doing specific classes about, hey, there's a group of people that want to learn how to submit a MESA package. Here's a group of people that want to learn how to prep for MCATs or whatever. So really being able to sponsor and host events in the long term is what I want to do.
That's great. That needs to be nationwide, because I'm going to tell you, if you're watching this, you said militarymentors.org?
Mentorsformilitary.org.
Mentorsformilitary.org. Whether you're civilian, military, or otherwise, you need to go to that landing page, fill out your information. If you have any questions at all whatsoever, because your recruiters are amazing.
Yeah.
Recruiters are awesome. They can answer probably the vast majority of your questions, but what if you have something really specific like what Jackie said? Yeah. I want to be this in the military. I want to be that in the military. And you're a recruiter. You're a logistics guy. You're doing your best, but then you're able to link up this young, person with someone who's doing it.
Yep.
No, I think this is an amazing idea, and I think we were talking a little bit more off camera about how is it that this could be done, because one of the biggest gaps, because you identified a gap to the mentors within the military. Jackie, this goes even bigger than that. There is a huge gap in between military people being connected with successful companies, successful entrepreneurs that have either been in the military or are looking to partner up with military veterans to bring value to their companies. And the thing is, what happens is, based on the experience that I've heard and then the feedback that I've received, is because you got to think about it, right? Most people that join the military, they come from either very low resources, or they come, they're super like content with the military. As a matter of fact, they joined the military because it was probably one of the only gateways of getting out where there is that they're from. And then now they do 8, 12, 20 years in the Marine Corps and be like, I'm set, I'm good, I'm getting disability, I'm getting a retirement paycheck. And then now,
that's powerful,
just because they don't get connected with individuals that can show them like, hey man, I can mentor you to really take it to the next level, where there'll be investments, where there'll be whatever it is that they want to do in life. Like, there's nothing that's happening right now for our military service members. So I'm a firm believer in what you're doing. I will tell you this. We didn't talk about this, but after this, I will be donating $500 to your organization.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
So I definitely appreciate everything that you do. I'm a firm believer. Not only that, like, within our military and veteran community, as of right now, because of what I just told you, we're all we got. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many people that think that, specifically in social media, it's like, oh, I have to be the bigger face in social media, or I have to, be the biggest account, or I have to have the biggest real estate stuff. It's like, nah, man, we're all one community.
Let me ask you a question, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because when I was listening to you, what I heard you saying is, this is a resource that is much bigger than probably all of us realize, that can follow somebody throughout the life cycle of
Yes.
their entire career.
Yes.
I'm not a military member too. I'm transitioning out of the military, whether it's after 4 or 30 years. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. And
Yeah.
and the thing is, right, it's like we can all help each other. You know what I'm saying? Like if you
Yeah.
grow, we all grow. Like that's the way that I've always been looking, that I always looked at it. And I think that's one of the reasons why, Barry decided to partner up with me whenever it came to the whole social media stuff. It was because, man, like I don't care. I don't care about me being the biggest face in social media or Barry being the biggest face, man. Like I grow, Barry grows. You know what I'm saying? And you got to surround yourself with like-minded individuals like that. And that's why I'm a firm believer in not only that, like, and I don't know if you knew or not, but like every single time that I close a real estate transaction, I find a veteran-owned business that I can own, that I can give a portion of my commission to. My social media, the monetization that I make from my social media, I give it back to my real estate clients. So it's like this whole circle. And why? Because of what you're saying. Like we need to bring awareness to this stuff because we're all we got.
Right.
So Jackie, I definitely appreciate you coming and talking with us today. If there was one last piece of advice, something that has been in your mind that you really want to give to all military service members out there, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give a young female Marine that's going through the Naval Academy right now, or is that going through OCS right now, is about to go through OCS? What would be the one piece of advice that you would give them?
Well, I have like one piece of advice that applies to everyone. That's kind of like, it's serious, but it's also kind of a joke. But it's, don't leave your money in the G fund. Please, please don't do that.
Yes.
That is literally the first thing I ever tell anyone, because my heart breaks every time
mine too.
people realize that they've been like, I've been putting all this money in my retirement, and then I'm like, what fund is it in there? Like, they don't know, and of course it's the G fund, and it hasn't made any money. So please do yourself a favor, do research on that, and don't leave your money in the G fund. And then for someone that is the description that you just said, I would just say that you are needed and valued, and there is you do belong. Like, it's really easy for us to tell ourselves we don't belong, to listen to other people that say we don't belong, but everyone is needed, and you have a seat at the table, and don't be afraid to, number one, ask for help. I've seen that downfall so often, especially at TBS, because we're, I'm a big bad commissioned lieutenant now, so I got it, I don't need help. And then when people are offering their help, say yes, thank you so much, and I will repay, I will pay, or I will give you help with something that I'm good at. Like, maybe I'm not so good at packing my pack for the hike, and you're really good at that. Like, I'm not, you see women so often being like, I got it on my own. And that is not how you, number one, make friends. That's not how you are part of a team. So don't be afraid to accept help or ask for help. And don't be afraid to admit when you're wrong, especially when you're so new. Like, you are not expected to have all the answers or have your leadership style developed. Like, you're a lieutenant for a reason. You're meant to fail and learn and grow. Like, no one is really expecting you to be completely formed and have figured it out. So be patient and give yourself grace, and just be very in tune with what you're feeling and what you're experiencing, and just try to keep going. Honestly, just keep going, because you don't know what opportunities are ahead and what people you'll meet and who you'll come across. And there's just so much out there and so many awesome opportunities in the military. Just don't write it off because of a bad day.
Okay. I think that's some great piece of advice, Barry. Where can people reach out to you?
Instagram @bull5277, TikTok @bull52772. Click the link in the bio. The call is free, and the change will last you a lifetime.
Guys, we will be having another podcast episode fresh for you guys every week, whether it'll be Tuesdays or Wednesdays. We're still trying to figure out the schedule, okay, and when we want to release it. But I promise you, we have a lot of value-added content for you guys. So make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe. And guys, like Barry and Jackie were saying, it doesn't take a financial, compensation in order for you two guys to support us. A like, you watching our content or you sharing the word with somebody that you know will benefit from this content really goes a long way in the stage that we are right now. So I definitely appreciate you guys watching. Make sure that you guys check out any of these videos are popping up right here on your screen, because they will also add a lot of content to a lot of value to your content. So I'll see you guys in the next one.
Welcome to the